Clippers-Nuggets game 2 was just as good as game 1 and just as close. Clippers beat the Nuggets 105-102. It was a reminder to all of us that Kawhi Leonard is one of the best basketball players that we have ever seen, and last night was one of the best playoff performances that we have ever seen. 39 points, 15 of 19 shooting, 5 assists, 2 steals, 4 threes. He had the game-sealing bucket with 55 seconds left in the game. He had a game-sealing steal to cap off a great defensive game. Playoff Kawhi is back. I was watching the first half of this game live because I am excessively tired of 8:30 tip times in the NBA. But the end of the first half, the 3 that he made to end the first half for the Clippers, you were just like, oh, he's in that mode. He's in playoff Kawhi mode. This is going to be fun to watch. And catching up on how he was in the second half of the game just furthered that point. He is unreal. He is going to be such a difficult player to explain to future generations because we see it with our eyes. Like watching Kawhi Leonard play last night, there's no drop-off between Kawhi of 2019 and Kawhi of 2025, except for the years between and the lack of playoff reps that we've seen from Kawhi Leonard because he's only been able to finish 2 of his last 7 postseasons. But for one night, at least, we were reminded of what he is when he is at the top of his game, and it was just an unreal performance. Here's the 3. Boop. I mean, you can't defend it any better. Like you got to be so frustrated if you're the Nuggets.
On this guy, like, come on, man, you're not supposed to finish with 6 hands around you like that. You're right, because it's so often the what ifs in sports. They simply start with this player was great. What if he didn't get injured and it changed his career trajectory, or he ended up out of the league, right? Brandon Roy was great. What if he didn't get injured and his career ended? Derrick Rose was great. He was MVP. He was fighting with the big 3 in Miami for supremacy in the East. He was phenomenal. What happens if he doesn't get injured and that changed the trajectory of his career? Kawhi got injured, won another championship, and looks damn good right now also. Right, like that's the odd thing about Kawhi Leonard. How many times the past 3 or 4 years when discussing the Clippers, somebody has said, hey, you know what? Clippers could be really, really good, especially with a healthy Kawhi. Or, I don't know what to make of the Clippers because I don't know if Kawhi is going to be healthy. When Kawhi Leonard is healthy, he is one of the 5 best players in the NBA, and he can carry your team through a playoff series against really good competition. They had nothing for him. He's big, quick. He has a mid-range game. We've done away with mid-range games. He has that mid-range game that's still really, really good. He's explosive, finishing at the rim. Oh, and by the way, best perimeter defender I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Like best defender on the court, no matter who else is out there. He's out there defending at a high level. He gets a big steal to end that game. And he's making all of the shots to give the Clippers the lead and so that they can hold on to that lead. The Nuggets just have no answer for Kawhi, and nobody has any answer for Kawhi.
That version of Kawhi.
That
and
version.
Every shot is tough. Like 17 of his 19 shots that he took last night were tough jumpers. I think only one of his shots ended up being in the painted area in last night's game. And he's automatic. He's unstoppable when he's in that mode. And you're right, it is crazy to think like what could have been in the conversations that we could be having, because you think about the players in his age range of LeBron and Steph and Kevin Durant, and we're all holding on for dear life of these players who have been at the top of the game and the players that we've determined to be the greatest of this era, and in the case of LeBron, the greatest of all time. And Kawhi's right there with him when he plays. And when he plays like he does last night, and now we sit and we cross our fingers and we say, I hope that this carries on because, and especially if you're a fan of the Clippers, you hope that this carries on because that version of Kawhi is capable of being, what would it be, a 3rd team where he's the best player on it to win a championship?
Yeah.
But he could very well do it again.
Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but
ahead.
If he gets to the finals and they win the finals and he's why, 3 different teams, 3 NBA Finals MVPs, and doing it for the hometown team. What a wonderfully weird sports story that could potentially be. And we are robbed of healthy Kawhi Leonard for the majority of his career. One, because the Spurs mismanaged his injury and 2, because Steve Kerr put out a hit on him and sent Zaza Pachulia in there when the Spurs were beating the hell out of the Warriors, and sent Zaza Pachulia out there to injure Kawhi on purpose by sliding underneath him on a jump shot, right? Like that's the difference in a fully healthy Kawhi for the entirety of his career and this version of Kawhi that we get. So once again, blame the Warriors, because Steve Kerr, once again, is known for breaking the code. Not to be lost, Jokic played well, another triple-double.
Yeah, it's 7 turnovers.
Well, that's the issue.
Like that's where
like
I credit.
You're not in that game without Jokic.
Yes.
But you lose that game because of those 7 turnovers, especially that last one to end on.
And I mean, he had 7 of the 20 turnovers for the team. And you look at moments that swung the game, like that Aaron Gordon missed wide open dunk. Just felt like it was the basket itself saying, no, you're not going to win this. If you turn it over 20 times in the playoff, you're not going to win this game. Just like it happened to the Clippers. The Clippers were the better team in game 1. It goes to overtime. Russell Westbrook has his yes, 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 no, yes again moment and gets the Nuggets a win. But last night for the Nuggets, they just gave away too many possessions, and they're not able to get it done. I have been wildly impressed with the play of Ivica Zubac and how he has grown in his role, and specifically how he matches up against Jokic. He makes everything so difficult for Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic, best player in the world, but he's out there grabbing his shorts. He looks tired. He looks frustrated. And taking away Jokic, we've said this before in matchups with the Nuggets, you can't take away everything from the best player in the world, but if you don't allow him to be as good of a facilitator as he has the capability of being, it doesn't allow anybody else to get involved for this team. And that's often been a case of shutting down the Nuggets.
Y'all are much higher on Zubac than I am.
Oof.
You and Jacob. I think he's good. Yeah, I'll acknowledge that. But Jokic had, what was his stat line? 20-plus points, 11 assists, 12, 13 rebounds. Like, that's not stopping anybody.
It's a bad game for Jokic.
That's not stopping
and 7
somebody.
turnovers.
7 turnovers. Some of that is on him. Just being goofy with the basketball, doing things that he should not do. And maybe some of that is Zubac having an effect on him mentally and making him second guess things that he normally wouldn't second guess. I understand that you've got to do something and throw somebody out there onto the Nikola Jokic for the Nuggets. I think that the difference in what this Clippers team can do, thanks to Kawhi Leonard and the rest of the perimeter players, is go at you both defensively and offensively. Mm-hmm. Because there's James Harden can get downhill and get at you and make threes. Norman Powell can get at you, get downhill and make threes. Dunn, whose name I'm just learning, a phenomenal defender from what they tell me and
Chris
from what I see. Right? Like they can hound your best perimeter players on the defensive side of the ball while also punishing the guy who you're trying to hide on somebody. There's no hiding from anybody on this team. And, well, you might be able to hide on Dunn. He can't shoot. But if you got to be in help for James Harden or Kawhi Leonard, you can't hide. You're always engaged on both ends of the court. Mm-hmm. And that's something that a lot of teams can't say, and what makes this Clippers team so very, very, very interesting.
They are an interesting team, and it's a tough matchup. And now you go to Los Angeles, and if you're the Nuggets who just missed 8 free throws, are you nervous about the wall?
I can't wait for the wall.
I'd be nervous about the wall.
I need a wall, Cam.
I think I saw Steve Ballmer, like, either he bought a ton of tickets for fans or reduced pricing for tickets for fans. Bottom line, he's very committed to that being a raucous environment at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. So I'm excited to see the wall in the playoffs for the first time.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m.